Can you just tell us about yourself? Like, like I think a lot of people who's going to listen, who's going to watch, like what you do, where you from? Because when I asked you the first time I met you, you told me you're from everywhere because you grew up in there, you studied there, and you work somewhere all over the places. But what do you like to call? Where are you from? Like.
Yeah. So I'm born in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and spent the first 2.5 years of my life there. But sometimes it's challenging. If I meet someone from Ireland, I say, "Oh, where are you from?" I'm from Belfast, and they're like, "Why do you sound like?"
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I grew up in Hong Kong. I was an expat brat. Came here in 1977. We lived in the Lee Garden Hotel
Lived in the Lee Garden Hotel
for the first 6 months or so when we arrived because our block of flat wasn't built. But I mention it because I work in the Lee Garden Hotel now, except it's not called hotel anymore. It's called Lee Garden 1, but it's the same building, same location. So the place I work in 2022 is where I lived in 1977, which is kind of interesting.
1977. How was the Hong Kong back in the days?
Totally different and totally the same, if that makes sense. So it was the same in the sense of crazy energy, lots of things going on, mix of East and West, mix of poor and rich, business and street level, all pushed together, just like now. But it was more of the Wild East. When they talk about cowboys in the Wild West, It was like cowboys in the Wild East in those days. It was very unregulated compared to now. I always remember when you used to get a tram or a bus, there was no concept of queuing, right? People didn't queue up for the bus or the tram or anything else in those days. You just all rushed to the place when the transport arrives, like a big bowl of people, and then you push and shove and kind of try to get your way through and just try to get on. And one time, I think in Happy Valley, I was trying to get on the tram. I was about 5, 6 years old, maybe a little older. I had my little primary school bag on, and I managed to get onto the tram, and suddenly a minute later I was lying on my back on the street, and I don't know what happened on my back. And then I looked up and there was a little old grandma, and she had grabbed up and pulled me back and threw me onto the street to get onto the tram, and then the tram left.
that is a really wild east.
You had to fight for your life in those days, man. The dangerous grandma.
So you work in a Lee Garden. What do you do? In terms of work.
Yeah, so I work for the NBA, and then when people hear that, they always think I'm really smart, and then I have to tell them, no, I mean NBA, not MBA. Right, as in the National Basketball Association.
No, I asked you, give me the jersey of Michael Jordan.
Well, we'll come to that in a minute. As you can see, I have the typical body shape of a basketball player, which is why they came to find me. I'm tall, slim, very athletic. I can jump super high.
You can do dunk, I saw that.
I have a video of me doing a dunk on my Instagram if you want to check it out. I really do.
What's your Instagram? Maybe you can just share with
It's Spencer Douglas with 2 S's.
2 S's.
2 S for Douglas, not for Spencer. It's not Spencer. It's Spencer Douglas. Douglas, as my friends like to say.
Wonderful.
Thank you. I work for MBA heading up programming and production, which basically means we support regional partners across all of Asia to produce content around the live games and assist with the delivery and broadcast of the live games. So it's kind of a weird job.
Let me stop you. That's why I was like, so you guys don't shoot the video?
We do. Sometimes, but not the game.
So, but it's just like arranging. So someone is shooting video. I just wanted to understand. So someone's shooting a video in America, and that's the live happening, and you guys broadcast in Asia. No. That's how it works? No.
Also, no. But basically, we just mess. Well, for me personally, we just kind of mess around, and no. How to explain? So imagine if you're sitting in Nepal.
Yeah.
In your hometown, your village, right? Yeah. And suddenly, like someone from America's like, right, we're gonna broadcast NBA there. We got a local TV partner. We're gonna put NBA, right? And so you're sitting in your village house, you're watching, and it doesn't make any sense. It's like a bunch of giant men crashing into each other, throwing stuff around, and some guy rabbiting on in a language you don't understand, right? So we would come in and we would get the village chief to come on. No, really, but we would get a local commentator. We put together a studio show, and we basically set it up so you could enjoy a completely localized live version of the NBA that you could enjoy, something like that. And then we repeat that for like 13 different countries in Asia.